It's the middle of the summer and it is black raspberry season around here. So we have black raspberries all over our property and literally they are everywhere. And there are so many awesome ways to use these really nutritious and delicious fruits. So we're gonna talk all about that. The beautiful thing about black raspberries is they grow abundantly and they are everywhere. So we have them all over our property, but even if you don't have them on your property, if you go walking in any like forest preserve or any nature area where you can forage, my guess is that you will find black raspberries everywhere. I mean, these beautiful berries they just grow abundantly and they are everywhere. And so grab your pail, grab your bucket, and go find yourself some black raspberries. So if you are gonna harvest black raspberries, a couple things to keep in mind is that those raspberry plants are super prickly. So you might wanna consider wearing pants or a long sleeve shirt, especially if you were gonna go like really forage and get in there like I tend to do, is to really like get into the weeds. And so you might want to wear pants or a long sleeve shirt, otherwise you will have super cut up arms like I do, but it's worth it, I promise. Grab your pail, get your black raspberries. So black raspberries are awesome to have for so many reasons. So you can sprinkle them on your yogurt, on your ice cream, you can eat them plain, you can put them in your baked oatmeal or sprinkle them on your oatmeal. They're great on top of salads. We've been doing that a lot. That's a perfect summertime meal with some chicken and some berries. Or if you don't feel like doing anything with them initially, you can always freeze them. These freeze really well. I try to freeze enough to have for the full year. I just take them. You can flash freeze them, but these actually don't stick together. So you can just take them as they are and put them directly in baggies and freeze them just like that, and they won't get all mushed together, which is awesome. And they are perfect then to pull out later to make quick and easy sauces or jams or use in smoothies or sprinkle in things like oatmeal or whatever all year round. So that is what we have been doing. I've been collecting literally every other day these days. We're out there harvesting as many of these black raspberries as we can get our hands on. The awesome thing too about black raspberries is not only are they delicious, but they are super, super nutrient dense. So the darker the color of things, typically the more nutrients, beneficial nutrients and antioxidants are in them. So as you can imagine, these black raspberries with this dark, rich black color are packed with tons of cancer-fighting antioxidants and all sorts of beneficial things. So you definitely want to find these, go grab your buckets and go forage for them. Today we're going to be making our black raspberry crisp. I'll link the recipe below so you can have the full printable recipe, but I love this crisp. This is our go-to fruit crisp for anything. So we use this for berries, we use this for apples, peaches, whatever fruit you can imagine. This is just our go-to topping. It's gluten-free, it comes together in 5 minutes, and I pretty much always have the ingredients you need on hand because it's super, super basic. So let's walk through how to make it. So all you're gonna do is you're gonna take your berries. You don't need to do anything to them, just wash them and they are good to go. It's 4 to 5 cups of berries, and you're gonna put them in your 8x8 pan. And then you'll wanna add, so I use tapioca flour. You could also use arrowroot starch. These are really nice thickeners. And so what it does is that when you cook these berries, a lot of the liquids are gonna run out. And so if you don't put a thickener in there with it to absorb that liquid, they're gonna get your crisp is gonna be like a liquidy, mushy soup. And so what this does is it soaks up that liquid to give your crisp a really nice texture. And so tapioca starch or arrowroot starch are the ones that I like to use. Cornstarch is another option, or even flour, but if you're looking especially for a gluten-free option, tapioca starch or arrowroot starch are my go-to. So we're gonna do 2 tablespoons roughly of that in there. And then it's about a 1/4 cup of honey or maple syrup or sugar, whatever kind of sweetener you want to put in there. I don't always measure, but just drizzle a little bit of honey, sweetener in there, roughly a 1/4 cup, just to get some nice sweetness in your fruit filling. And then you're just going to want to stir this together to get all of that arrowroot and honey mixed in nicely so you don't see bunch of white in there. All right, beautiful. Now this is our filling. Our filling is ready to go, and so now we're gonna move on to making our topping. All right, so to make our topping, we are just gonna mix a few ingredients together. We have, so pretty much all of these ingredients I get from Costco. So we have our oats. I love to get the gluten-free sprouted rolled oats from Costco. That's my favorite source for them. And then almond flour, the organic brown sugar, the coconut oil, and then a little bit of salt, and then just a little bit of yogurt. Brings everything together. And so that is it. So it's just a cup of your oats, your gluten-free oats, a half a cup of your almond flour, a third of a cup of brown sugar. You can also use coconut sugar. Come on. If you prefer. And then you're just gonna mix this together. You can add just a sprinkle of salt. These brown sugar clumps mixed in. All right, and then you're gonna add in, it's a quarter cup of your coconut oil. And you can melt this, or mine's pretty soft because it's warm in here, and I find that it stirs together just fine if it's not totally melted. But you probably don't want it super rock hard. So if it's really hard, if it's cool in your house, then you might need to just soften it or melt it. But as long as it's soft or melted, it'll stir together pretty easily. All right, and then you're gonna do a quarter cup of yogurt. So it doesn't matter, regular yogurt, Greek yogurt, whatever, you just want plain yogurt. All right, and then you're just gonna mix all of these things together to get a nice kind of moist topping that just comes together nicely. If you want to add like cinnamon to it, depending, I like to do that if I'm making more of like an apple crisp, but it's up to you. That would be delicious in there as well. Looks like it's coming together good. So then you're just gonna take this and you're gonna put dollopfuls of it on top of your filling. So just spread it around nice and evenly. I guess I should say, while you're preparing this, you could preheat your oven to 350 degrees because you're gonna bake it 350 degree oven for about 40-45 minutes until the topping is getting browned and the filling is nice and bubbly. All right, so that's it. So if you are looking for a super fun, free activity to do this summer, get out there, go pick some black raspberries. I promise once your eyes are open to them, you will start spotting them everywhere. These things are abundant. And so enjoy making some black raspberry crisp, but you have to eat black raspberry crisp with vanilla ice cream. I promise it is like a match made in heaven. And so if you have never tried making your own homemade ice cream before, we highly recommend it. There's nothing like it. And so I'll link to our homemade vanilla ice cream recipe next, and we'll see you in that next video.